was the last time you went for a spin on the dance floor? If you love dancing or always thought that you might like to try it, medical research suggests that you ought to trust your instincts. It's not just that dancing improves bodily fitness, it's also been found to prevent dementia. And judging from the dance class we visited, it can also be a lot of fun. Let's watch.
Every day seems to bring new evidence of the value of regular physical activity. According to a recent study by the National Institute on Aging, active adults live longer than those who live more sedentary lives. To stay active, many older adults run, others lift weights, do aerobics, or play sports. But some complain that working out is a bore. If you want to get the exercise you need and challenge your mind and creative talents as well, Doug Yeuell may be able to help. Doug is the executive director of the Joy of Motion Dance Center in Washington, D.C. On top of his daily administrative duties, he teaches a Broadway jazz dance class that introduces students of all ages to the basics of dance movements.
I think we all, in our lives, we have different ways that we exercise. And I think that a lot of people have found that dance is sort of the answer to their exercise or what they do. Dance is an excellent form of exercise. But most importantly, dance allows you to sort of work your spirit, work your soul, to allow yourself to be expressive, to find an artistic outlet, as well as just sort of the physical and mental outlets. I've been teaching this particular class probably for a good 10 years. It's a beginner level class. It's all about getting you moving, getting you up, getting you energized and invigorated.
If you think that dance classes are just for the young, guess again. Doug makes it easy for people of any age to try, and once they do, many get hooked.
But I think the main sort of power about this particular class is that I teach it in a way that it makes the movement and the dance very accessible to a broad population and to a broad audience. And what has happened is that I have sort of developed an audience of dancers, really of maybe some older dancers that probably danced when they were younger and or never danced before. They walk into this class and they go, oh, I can do this. I can do this, and I can actually have a really great time. And I'm in a room with other people that are just like me.
After I retired, I had no hobbies. So my sister, who was a professional dancer with Paul Taylor Company for years on end, said, you always wanted to dance, so why don't you take dance classes? I said, at 68? She said, why not? So she sent me some brochures for Joy of Motions, from Joy of Motion School. So I came on over, she came with me. I liked what I saw. So 3 years ago, I started, and then I began to take more and more classes.
What seniors find at the Joy of Motion Dance Studios is an atmosphere of camaraderie, combined with fun but intense dance routines that provide a safe but vigorous workout.
There is a warm-up part. However, the warm-up that I do is quite energetic. I call it a moving warm-up. We walk in the door, I put the music on, and we start to move. I want to get them breathing right away to get the oxygen flowing, to get the blood pumping. We then transition from just a basic warm-up into some more specific, what I call isolations, where we isolate different parts of the body. We're working our shoulders or the head rolls, circles, rib cage. We'll also work our hips and our feet.
It's just fun to try out, use your shoulders, use your total anatomy, use your hips, and we don't always feel comfortable doing that, but after a while, it's just fun.
And abdominal exercises are very key for a dancer. They help to keep your center and your core strong. The abdominals help you to maintain a nice, long, strong spine. They're essential to keeping the body healthy and strong and aligned. then after the abdominals, we come back center and we do a 3A combination. It's a very relatively slow and methodical exercise where we're working the legs, working rotation in the hips, working balance, working quality of movement, just working a lot of fine elements of dance to again make sort of what I call the mind-body connection.
We go through an exercise routine. He just gets all the muscles or the sets of muscles sort of warmed up. And while you're doing that, what I'm learning is that you are also learning some positions or some steps that he's going to work into a choreography.
Once that's done, we get up and we go across the floor. We start moving through space. When we go through space, the dancers start to go either single file, one by one, or in just groups of two. So once we go across the floor and allow that experience to happen, then we come back for the final part of class, which is the combination.
Keeping even simple dance steps in mind takes some effort. And research suggests that the work is as good for your brain as it is for your body. A 2003 study at the Albert Einstein College of Medicine in New York City examined the effects of leisure activities in lowering the risk of dementia in older populations. The study broke leisure activities into two categories: cognitive activities, such as reading, writing, doing crossword puzzles, and playing games, and physical activities such as tennis, golf, swimming, dancing, and bicycling. The results of this study found that of the physical activities, dance was the only one associated with a lower risk of dementia.
From a health perspective, I think one of the things that I would really like to stress about dance is not only the physical, but as you mentioned, sort of the mental. I start to string movements together one after the next to create a sequence and then to create a phrase or what we call a combination. And that mental exercise that takes place at the end of the class is a great mental exercise. And I think that helps to keep your mind healthy and vibrant and firing and, again, just very sharp.
Biggest challenge is learning choreography. I have improved greatly in picking up the choreography quicker. So it's helping my brain. So I'm almost 71, so I've got to keep going so I can keep being fit.
Doug students have no doubt that the Broadway jazz dance class is good for them. But they also agree that it's just plain fun. For most, that's an unbeatable combination.
I particularly love the routines, and when he gives you sort of the props, like the hat, you really feel like you're on stage.
It's being in the basement with a boa flung around your neck and lip syncing to, you know, whatever. It's just, it lifts you to a different plane.
Everybody should move, you know, move to the extent that they can and encourage them to keep their brains active. It's just wonderful for people my age and older.
But I just say try it out. It doesn't have to be jazz, it could be ballet, it could be modern, it can be whatever. I've even done the tango.
Because you don't feel age here, you just feel joy.
Joining me now to talk about the many benefits of dancing is Douglas Yeuell, Executive Director of Joy of Motion Dance Center, and he's a dance instructor as well. Founded in 1976, Joy of Motion teaches and encourages people of all ages who want to integrate movement into their lives for better physical and spiritual health. Also here to help us better understand fitness issues is Stephanie Oakes. Stephanie is a health and fitness journalist, a certified fitness instructor, as well as a new mother of 2 boys. She appears regularly on many TV programs and serves as contributing editor for Self and Shape magazines. Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So why do you think dance is often overlooked as a way for people to maintain health?
Well, I think it's interesting. There's a phrase I hear a lot of people say is dance. Oh, I can't dance. And of course, my immediate reaction to that is, of course you can dance. Everyone can dance. And so again, I think there's a little bit of a mental drawback to it, but then once people are sort of talked to and convinced and shown how to do it, I think that they find there's a beautiful world out there.
What's that famous quote too? Dance like no one's watching you or something?
Well, exactly, because there is an element of, you know, of exposing yourself or feeling exposed to a certain degree.
Right.
But yeah, if you feel like no one's watching you, you
just
lose your inhibitions and
Sure.
you just do it.
Stephanie, how do you think dance rates in terms of exercise as opposed to other like weight-bearing exercises?
I think it's a terrific form of exercise. It is a weight-bearing exercise because you are moving on the ground or on a floating hardwood floor, and you're using all of your limbs, all of your arms and legs and everything. The thing about dance, though, is it's kind of come in and out as far as a fitness trend. It started in the 60s with Jackie Sorensen in '69, and then sort of made it through all of the gyms and the jazz and the hip-hop, and then now it's coming back as a popular form of exercise.
Why do you think it's so popular among seniors?
Because I think the seniors really know that being on a treadmill for an hour and a half, 6 days a week.
We all know this.
You get a little bored, and I think they're looking for something to challenge them. But they also grew up with probably more a dance-oriented television shows and things that went on with Hollywood, with all of the musicals out there. So they really think about it, and they know that it's a popular form of movement as well as exercise.
Sure. Talking about that, though, Doug, from a physiological standpoint, what parts of the bodies does dance actually help or get moving?
Well, I think dance actually helps all parts of the body, and one of the key things that dance does help is the brain and the mind. And I think that one of the things that you see from maybe the class that I teach, not only is your entire body engaged in the work, but your brain is also thinking and clicking and doing. So it really gets people on their toes, so to speak.
So to speak. Before we close, very quickly, you have something called Doug's Buddies, and you guys actually go out to senior centers, is that right?
We actually do, Several of the dancers that I take class with me have sort of become a group and dance company. We've now been performing and working for a couple of months now.
Fantastic.
And we do go to senior centers and assisted living centers and perform for that audience.
Great information, you two. Thanks for being here.
Sure.